Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 33-year-old from Cardiff, Wales, but more specifically, Barry Bados, not to be mistaken with Daytona Beach, Ohio. It's Barry Bados, Wales, folks. A staple with the Cardiff Devils junior program where he ran a muck in 03-04 with 9 goals and 7 games played. He officiated in the EIHL for a decade and broke up multiple fights between much larger men than himself. And he also started Extreme Edges and is running amok in the skating world, coaching kids to adults to pros like the Devils and Cardiff Fire. And he's getting everybody off their Penguins, folks in the UK. Welcome to the shed, Sam Motton.
Thanks for having me, Wally.
Yeah, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I think last time I saw you was when I was over there, and I get into how we know each other was I helped Hendo out with one of his hockey schools over there, and You're in the same world as him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you got Extreme Edges, right? You had that way back when I was over there. I remember showing up at the BBT and you'd have dozens of kids on the ice, eh?
Yeah, that's how it all started. That's how it all started on a Saturday and a Sunday morning. We started off with, I think it was like 2 kids who wanted to go down the hockey route, but were learning to skate in a figure skating environment. And they asked me if I could jump on and help them out. And I was like, yeah, sure. My daughter was figure skating at the time. And
so you went on the ice with the figure skaters. I remember you were still doing that.
Yeah. I went on the ice with the figure skaters because I used to figure skate.
Okay.
So
you're a figure skater, so could you do like a triple axel?
No, God, no. I'm not that good.
I don't. What could you do? Could you do a single axel?
I can't even remember, right? Because it was so long ago. But I was doing both. I was playing. I was in the juniors. I was in the under 10s and 12s back then, and I was figure skating before training. So
wouldn't it be weird switching skates?
Yeah, my kneecaps took a bit of a battering, to be honest, with the toe picks. Because you kind of forget.
How could you go back and forth, man? There's no way I could skate on figure skates.
Just have to learn to, I guess, diversify between the two. And then it got to a point where you get chirped by the boys saying, well, you're in sequence before we go out for training. And so it's like, yeah. It got to a point, I think I must have been about 12 or 13. And I was like, yeah, I can't, my head can't take this right now.
Right. So you were doing both figure skating and hockey. And it would be tough, right? When they're like, say the figure skaters, they're telling you to wear some kind of outfit for the show. And like the hockey boys are showing up after going, look at Mott's out there.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. But it was good. And you know what? If I hadn't gone down the figure skating route, I wouldn't have been anywhere near the skater I am today.
So how do they translate though? Because that's got a toe pick, and you skate don't you skate almost like you're cross country skiing on figure skates, and you use the pick?
Yeah, exactly. It was
how the hell does that make you a better skater?
Because of the edge work. It's all about the edge works, and I mean,
I thought most of it's on their toes though, right? Like not their edges aren't even sharp, are they?
They got a little bit of a bite to them. They're definitely not as sharp as how I'd have my hockey skates as such. But yeah, it's just like the agility side of it as well, and the balance and the movement, and it worked. Put it that way.
Yeah, well, I saw the picture you sent for the poster. It looked like you had a hell of a stride on you.
Yeah, that was a CHL one. That was
right down to the toes you were pushing to, eh?
Yeah. Exactly. And it just got to a point where we're trying to coach the kids and they don't really see it in action. So I was like, right. And I just thought, well, if I bust past now on an icing, I'll make sure my stride's good. So I took a screenshot from the TV.
Oh, it was a gorgeous looking stride, man.
I was like, that's how we do it.
So there's another random question that popped in my brain is for Linesman. Yep. You guys, that's when you guys get to show off is when there's an icing, eh? Like that's when you guys decide to really wheel, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you supposed to like sprint? Is that like a thing they teach you?
It kind of was in the lower leagues. I think they put the emphasis on getting down, get the puck, get back, get ready for the face-off. But I don't know. Sometimes I just saw it if I needed a bit of a burst of energy just to release off some steam, I guess.
You'd really burn her to the goal line.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when it was just a 3-man system and you go into the zone and let's say if it was touch ice and you got to get in there to see.
You got to get right down to the goal line if it's touch.
Exactly. So I was used to that. So then when it came to like the 4-man
system.
So
how winded do you guys get in a game as linesmen? Like, do you guys get tired enough that you feel like you should be able to take a shift off?
Yeah, it's pretty sweaty.
Really?
It is pretty sweaty. Yeah, because I think a big part of it is obviously the concentration level. So, you know, you got that mental strain on it. So you got to make sure that what you're calling is spot on.
Yeah.
Then obviously you're looking for anything that's off the play as well as what's on the play. And you try and read the game as much as you can. Especially with like guy coming out the box or something like that. You've got to have your wits about you because there could be, you know,
don't want to get ran into.
Well, yeah, that actually happened.
And like, have you not been hit by a puck really hard? Probably.
Yeah, just a little bit. I've had a few cracked ribs and stuff. Just with guys that trying to make a dump down the wall, and I was in Coventry.
I know, like when I'm dumping that in, and the coach is gonna say like, you can't turn it over. It has to get deep. Like, I don't even notice you're standing there. You better get out of the way.
Exactly. I was on the left-hand side of the ice, and there's a right-handed shot from Coventry, and I was just inside the red line, and he wound up, and I went to turn with the puck. So as the puck's coming past me, I've turned, and it was a bad dump, and broke a couple of ribs. It was quite tasty. Didn't realize it until after the game because your adrenaline's running.
Yeah, getting hit by pucks sucks, especially if you're not actually playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. There was one time where I got absolutely smoked. I think you were on the ice at the time. It was when
you have a good memory.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name.
Did he hit you in the back with a puck and you like went down?
No, this was a guy coming out of the box on a stretch pass. And as I've turned to go up the ice, because I knew the guy was coming out of the box pretty soon in the next 2 seconds. And as I've turned, he come flying out the box and kind of broke my nose.
Like you ran into him face first? Yeah,
so I caught his elbow.
Yeah,
he come out the box.
That's why sometimes it's not that great to be such a great skater. Sometimes it's better to go slower. You don't get in compromised situations as often. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just
gonna have your nose splashed across your face.
Okay. So that's what I got for how we know each other was your linesman and early mornings at the BBT when you'd be on the ice. I remember getting there for practices and you guys would be on early.
Yep.
And you're an avid Shed listener, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the support. Thank you.
No, exactly. It's been great, to be honest. Like, if I'm in the car on the way back from the school run and stuff like that, I'll switch it on. I mean, to the point where I was listening to it in the house on the speaker, and the missus bought me a pair of AirPods to listen to it on. She was fed up of like,
not for everyone.
Exactly.
So where and what are you doing now?
So right now, we are running the Learn to Play program in Cardiff. So the player pathway to get into the juniors. So before what
do you mean you are like Extreme Edges is?
Extreme Edges is running the Learn to Play program now.
And is that your company? You started that?
Yeah. So that's owned by myself, and my wife manages it because there's no way that I could manage exactly everything that goes on.
Right.
So I kind of take care of the on-ice product, and she takes care of all the administration and anything off ice.
Kind of like Lee making the posters for me and Sean Collins doing the website for me, right? There's no way I could do those things, but I can do the Shed stuff.
Exactly. I mean, it took me a while to like let anyone get involved with Extreme Edges because I was doing it on my own, and I was like, right, but I can't do it all. And you got like a waiting list for kids, to learn how to skate. And it came to a point where...
Well, it's because you really went down to the grassroots, right? It really opens up a different market because there's so many guys that get into coaching hockey and they all want to be elite. They all want to do the highest end, right? And in Wales, they love public skating. I've never seen so many public skaters as in Wales.
Yeah, it's
and penguins.
Yeah, to be honest, I think because it's still quite a niche sport, and obviously we haven't got as many rinks as what you guys have got in Canada and things like that. There's still that novelty behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why public sessions are so busy.
It is the only arena in Wales right now, right? The 2 sheets in Cardiff.
Yeah, the 2 sheets in Cardiff, and then you've got a rink up in Dease. I'm not sure if that's open back up yet because they were using that as a field hospital for the old COVID and stuff. But yeah, there's right up north of Wales. There's another rink, Dease Dragons, I think they're called.
Okay, I never even heard of that.
I think they're maybe like National League level.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, you started out with kids just learning how to skate. That's what you're doing, to learn to play. So that's just skating, or is that hockey sticks?
No, that's skating as well. So skating and hockey. So we take them on the ice from age 3. We have one little group where one of my coaches, Tom, he runs that. And we call that Tom's Tots. And you got little 3, 4, 5-year-old kids playing, having fun out there, learning to skate and just tearing it up out there. So it's great fun. It's nice to see the kids, and when they're having fun, they don't realize what they're learning. Like they play tag, they play stuck in the mud and things like that, and they're constantly moving. We have balls out there, they have footballs out there, they kick a ball around, and even with the little...
they just learn their edges and learn being on skates. Exactly.
They get comfortable. They get comfortable in the environment that they're in. We get the bingo dabbers out on the ice. We draw on the ice with them and things like that. And
that's how I taught my team the D zone this year.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I painted the D zone so they'd know where they were supposed to be. Yeah,
exactly. But using visual aids like that, I think it's it unlocks a lot of learning.
It can make things a little simpler, right? And for then different age groups, it can do different things. But
exactly.
That's pretty cool. But shout out to Zoe, my daughter. She just finished her first year of hockey, and it was like, I guess, just a step up from what you're talking about there. So she's 7 now, but she just signed up for the first time this year, shocked the world, and then she loved it. She had a great time, and next year she'll get to be on a team just full of girls. So she's pretty excited.
Oh, that's good, because like I say, with the learn to skate element of it, then we built our own program. So we got the Learn to Play program, consists of 6 different levels.
How many kids you got?
In total on a weekend, you're looking at 125.
So I got to say this, because I always talk about how hockey grew like crazy after that year, 2014-15.
Yep.
Is guys like Joey Martin, Joey Haddad, like you've seen all of this grow in front of your own eyes, probably, and through your registration numbers, right?
Yeah. It's ever since the new ownership group came in for Cardiff, it's gone absolutely wild. And
signed Wally, I know.
Exactly. But it's just gone crazy, and there was a big boom, and kids just wanted to get out there. Kids wanted to play the game. Kids wanted to see what it was about. And you got kids going to the Devils games who want a slice of the cake. So they come down.
And that's their aspirations, right? Those kids that are growing up watching it. Like when I went out with Hendo there and did his camp, which is a lot of skill work, right? And he's got quite crafty with it too, is some of those kids, we then saw him at the Devils game that night. And like, that's what they're aspiring to be, right? And there was some talent out there.
Yeah, exactly. The Devils players who they see on the ice on a Saturday and Sunday night, they're the heroes. So that's what, like you said, that's who they're aspiring to be. And when we took on the Learn to Play program, there wasn't really a structured program in place before they could get into, say, like a travel team kind of situation. So before they could get into the junior development, they had the Learn to Play program there. But I knew we could make it so much better.
Yeah. It must be wild watching this grow from back then.
It's been exciting. It really has. I never imagined it to be where it is now. Extreme Edges wasn't set up as a business. It was set up as me
doing your passion, and you like teaching kids and skating, right?
Exactly. Like, nothing pleases me more seeing a kid progress from, say, level 1 to level 6 and seeing them finally go across to the juniors because they've worked harder. It's
like my team I'm coaching this year, right? Like, I just love it, and seeing the kids progress and get better, and then they become brothers. And like, maybe we're not talking about that with your kids because they're just learning to skate, but like my team, where they're a team for the first time in their lives, like they are brothers, and watching them get better together and push each other, and the looks on their faces when they lose a game compared to win a game, like, man, it's been a wild ride. And shout out to them. We have our final 2 games before All Ontario's this week, round robin against the other 2 winners. So we have that tomorrow and Thursday. So back-to-back Jackson. We'll see if we're the champions heading into All Ontario's next weekend.
Good luck to the Canucks.
Oh yeah, it's been so much fun, man. What a time. Okay, so then you got the youngest tots there, and then you got older than that.
Yeah, so then once they progress from like the tots group, or if they're older,
so who runs the Devils program? Are you that too? Is there a junior Devils thing?
Yeah, the junior Devils is run by Jason Stone.
Okay, yep.
So Stoney's running that. Hendo does a little bit with them as well, does skill sessions and things like that. And they got their own coaches. So
when his jersey was retired, we won 10-0.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Fun fact, exactly. So we're the pathway to the Junior Devils program. So anyone who wants to get involved with the juniors comes through us. So the program that we've built and put in place gives them a solid foundation then to take into the juniors. So it makes their life a lot easier, the coaches in the junior program, because the kids can actually skate when they're coming through.
Yeah. So how much? I know ice time's got to be expensive when there's only 2 sheets in the area. So how much are these people paying?
So it works out at £52 a month for the Learn to Play program.
And then they provide their own equipment and have, like, are they full hockey gear at that?
Some of, I'd say 90% of them are. Some of them who are just starting out will have a helmet, gloves, and stick.
And £52 a month doesn't seem like that much.
So that's the session every Saturday morning.
1 session a week.
Yep.
That's not that much.
Then you've got the junior program.
That's not overpriced. I thought it'd be more.
Like I said, we didn't set it up to be a business.
I like that.
So I think, especially my wife's kind of ethos is to get as many kids involved with the sport as possible and to make it as affordable as possible as well. So with that in regards to kit, so anyone who wants new kit, they go and see Corky, and Corky sorts them out and gives them a great price on starter kits and things like that. But then we also have is a second-hand kit cupboard where if players need anything, or if parents can't afford it or anything like that, then we look to see what we've got. What can we provide to them as a donation to them?
What a segue this is then. Great that you're doing that for kids to get involved. But we just raffled off the Elmira Shurikings jersey for Friends of Hockey. Sorry for burping. Yeah. Friends of Hockey in Elmira, Ontario, which raises money for kids that can't afford or the equipment or registration. And we raffled off a Shuriking jersey, and a bunch of former Shurikings helped out, bought tickets. But fun fact, the Elmira Shurikings are heading to Sheffield, England, to Sarah Kearse, who was, she's a shed gal. She made the stickers and started sticking them all over Sheffield, England. And I just really appreciate the support and getting my name out there, because I didn't start this to be a business, and it sure isn't a business because you'd have to make money. But I really appreciate it. And we raised 310 Canadian dollars for Friends of Hockey. So thank you, everybody that bought tickets, and fun times, you know?
No, that's great. Like, everyone involved with the sport know that it's an expensive sport. It's an expensive sport to get your children into, because once they can skate and they've gone past the helmet, gloves, and stick aspect, you know,
it only gets more expensive. My word.
Exactly. And if we can try and keep that cost down as much as possible to help the parents, then hopefully we can grow the sport, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you want more hockey players playing hockey because it's fun. Teaches you a lot of life lessons.
100%.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing I think you're doing now, or you were doing, okay, you got all that, but then you still do extreme edges on the outside of Learn to Play?
Yeah.
Holy
so we still
moly.
do. Yeah. So we have a session then on a Sunday morning, which all players can come to. So basically anyone who's in the junior program, they come down. We have kids who want the extra session from a Saturday, they come down. And we have the end zone really is for kids who just want to give it a try. So they come out, they try it, they get used to it, and then they step onto the ice on a Saturday morning. Then once they've found their feet a little bit.
So are there any young bucks in Cardiff you see coming up that you think have potential?
Yeah, there's quite a few that come through. There's guy who works with Hendo a lot, Alex, Anton, his dad is.
I think, is he about 16 years old?
No, he's a little bit younger. Alex Rimko.
No, not sure if I know him.
So, but I think he's playing in Slovakia this year.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's gone out there, and that's the thing is, we're trying. What I would like to do is try and create something in Cardiff, or at least in this country, where players don't have to go abroad.
They don't have to go abroad to reach their dreams or their potential.
Exactly. You look at Sam Duggan. I saw him come through the junior system in the UK when I was refereeing, and he had to go to Sweden.
He did. Yep.
So, you know, whilst it's still a minority sport in this country, it's tough. But if we can grow it, and I mean, Cardiff's fortunate to have myself and Hendo there, because everyone was like, "Oh, Hendrikx is coming back, and he's going to be running the junior hockey out of Cardiff." And he's like, people were like, "Are you worried?" I was like, "No. Why would I be worried? He concentrates on the puck and the stick stuff. I concentrate on the skating."
And then you get both together, and you need both of those things. It's like, for me, coaching, I don't want to get into all the different aspects of coaching. I want to do what I'm good at coaching, right?
Exactly. And we complement each other very well. And people, first of all, thought we didn't get on. It was quite funny, whereas like we speak most weeks. We're going for coffee this week.
Yeah.
So
if you guys are, it wouldn't make any sense for you guys to be enemies in such a small pond, right? You may as well collaborate.
Exactly. And we got players we both work with. So it's a
well, happy birthday, Hendo. It's your birthday
today,
and I had your competitor in the shed. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Okay. But yeah, so you'd say hockey has really exploded since 2014-15 though. Yeah. And you like to see what it became, like the Devils and everything, just from what we were the first few games in the BBT, when I remember Todd was outside the arena with pieces of paper and gave them to all the fans, like the ones that are lined up to get into the arena for the first preseason game, the most passionate. And he gave them all a piece of paper and asked them to write down what they would change about the Cardiff Devils. And when I saw shit like that, it stuck with me for the rest of my life about how to treat people, how to run a business or manage. And I thought it was really cool to watch it from that day, when our first preseason game as the Devils with the new ownership, and seeing him do that with the fans and getting their perspective to all the kids playing hockey now in Wales. And yeah, now Hendo is running a business. You're running a business, and it's all from the Devils becoming a dynasty, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's 100%. I think with what Todd did there, straight away, he showed that he cared about the fan base.
Yeah.
Like straight away. he's like, right, okay, what would you change? I remember it because my dad was in that line.
I remember it too. I was playing 2-touch outside and I was watching him and I was like, I have never seen a guy actually care.
yeah, exactly. But that's the difference. And I think that's where the fan base in Cardiff are very lucky, and everyone involved in hockey in Cardiff are very lucky to have someone like Todd spearheading it.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. Okay. We better keep going here. We got stuck in chatting. I haven't even got into the notes yet. Okay. Your son plays.
Yep. Harry plays.
Harry, how old's Harry? What do you got? One kid?
Harry's 7.
So is he in Learn to Play with you?
He's in Learn to Play right now. He's in level 6. So he's got.
What do you mean? What level 6? What does that mean? Well,
So
you got like levels like a video game,
like
a black belt, brown belt.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a structured Learn to Play. So they have certain elements that they need to complete. So whether that's crossovers, whether that's an outside edge on half a circle, just to make sure that they can use their edges properly, and things like that. So it's skating based.
Okay.
But we put them through it. So whether they can do forward lemons, whether they can do backward lemons and things like that, just so it's structured for them, they can see what they need to work on. And
backward lemons and forward lemons. Are you talking about where you just do the
I guess you call it sculling.
I don't know what I call it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever called it anything.
So we built a 6-level program that monitors their progress, and it means that the parents can see what their kids are learning and achieving every week.
So then when would he be going on to the junior Devils?
On completion of level 6. But right now there's no under 10s in Cardiff at the minute, because there weren't enough of them coming through. So there's no under 10s team, but next season there will be, which I'll be running under the junior Devils. So he'll be in that little team.
And so who would you play then as the Cardiff Devils under 10 team? How far would you got to travel to play games?
So you'd go under 10s is Swindon, Oxford, and Cardiff. So I think it's just those 3 teams.
And you just play between the 3 teams for the year.
Between the 3 teams, you travel to Swindon one weekend and you play against Swindon and Oxford, and then you travel to Oxford the next weekend.
And then all 3 teams are there.
It's cross ice at under 10s. So there's plenty of games going on.
Right. Okay. Well, that sounds exciting though. Once they get on a team and they start playing other towns, that's when the real passion I find gets into her, you know?
Yeah, definitely. But we've got a great group of under 10 age kids right now. And some of them are actually gone to train with the under 12s in Cardiff, because they completed the program. And I think anyone over the age of 8 can train with the under 12s, and we can't hold them back.
Right.
So one of the kids who's gone up is gone straight into the second line. So what we're doing at the Learn to Play program is working.
Yeah, they're being prepared for when they get there.
Exactly.
It makes hockey more fun when you're prepared when you get there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you grew up in Barbados.
Yeah.
Okay? I went there a couple times. Beautiful beach. I would say somewhat of an unsafe roller coaster. They let Colby go on that roller coaster, like the main one. He was only 3, and we got to a point where the roller coaster just stopped, and I was like, oh my God, like, is he okay?
Yeah.
I couldn't, but once I realized how fast the roller coaster was, I really shouldn't have had him on there, and they shouldn't have let me have him on there.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risky one. I wouldn't ask to see the safety certificates, so you probably haven't got any. We actually took a couple of kids there during the summer, just to walk around the beach and walk around the theme park. And one of the coverings was missing off the bottom of the ride, and you could see what it was propped up with. It was like propped up with like railway sleepers to make the ride level. And I was just like, yeah, kids, you're not going on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful beach.
Yeah. Great beach. Beach.
Yeah. I went to, I think we went as a family and then went to a pub nearby, and like, it's a great day going out there.
Yeah, like people
Wouldn't put the
travel.
3-year-olds on the roller coaster, folks.
Yeah, geez, like people flood there in the summer, like people from up the valleys and things like that, who don't have, the beach on their doorstep. You should see the trains that come down, and they're like packed. Like
Oh, it's a
you
beautiful
see these
spot.
trains in India, like where people are hanging off the sides and stuff. That's what it's like going down to Barry Island.
Barbados.
Barbados.
Okay. So then how did you get into figure skating or hockey? How'd you get into it?
So started skating around the age of 3, 4. Parents took me to public session. Dad loved watching the hockey on the TV at the Olympics, on Eurosport and things like that. So once I was of an age that I could stand up, I was pretty much at the rink with them. Then started playing in the junior program age 5.
Age 5, you started playing hockey and you're doing the figure skating still till 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So then how do you get into being a linesman?
So I went through the junior program in Cardiff through to the under 16s. After making the conference team at under 11s and traveling the country, playing, my dad said to me, look, what do you want to do after hockey? And I was like, well, that's not really a question I thought about, when you're 14, 15. And he's like, well, why don't you look at the refereeing aspect of it and stay in the game, stay involved with it? He said, you get a bit of pocket money. It's better than flipping burgers at McDonald's, and keep yourself busy. So at the time, there's a guy called Ken Riddell who was running the officiating program then, and he was always at the Devils games. And my dad said to him, "Look, Sam's interested in becoming a linesman," and he took me on my first level 1 course, which was on the Isle of Wight. You wouldn't have played there, but it's literally like a tin shed, was a tin shed on an island off the south coast of England.
Really?
And
sounds cool.
Yeah, you got to go on this safari train thing up the pier to get to the rink. So you take that
sounds kind of nice.
Take a boat across, then you jump on this jungle train, take the jungle train down the pier to the rink. And literally the rink is in the dock of the pier. So it's a bit of a strange one, but
do they play hockey there?
They used to, yeah. So they used to when
does this place still exist?
No, I think they've pulled it down now. But when the early days of the Super League, when the English Premier League, so the league below, was of a better standard than what it is now, they had a team there, the White Link Raiders, and they were called the White Link Raiders because the ferry was called White Link. So they were sponsored by the ferry company. So, yeah, it was pretty insane. Small barn. So I went there and did my level 1.
So you got into being a linesman. So then you start being a linesman for, I guess, junior games. And I was still playing at the time. When did you start doing the EIHL? Because I remember when you were the linesman in the EIHL, and I was like, that dude is small to be dealing with these guys.
Yeah, how old was I? I think I was 19, 20.
So how long is what? So you were doing it for a long time when I got there.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, it's it was I remember my first game. So obviously you work your way through. So you start doing the under 12s games locally, and then you get invited to some tournaments. Then I started to progress. I think I did my first English Premier League game when I was still in school. So I think it must have been 14 or 15. So quickly progressed through that, and then got an invite from the IIHF to go to Eindhoven in the Netherlands for a IIHF development camp.
Okay. A development camp for the refs?
And players. It was a junior development camp. So they had referees and linesmen from across the world, and they had a load of players from different countries. So there was, I think it was 4 or 5 from the UK, together with 2 officials from the UK, all put on by the IIHF.
So there would be like a scrimmage, and then you guys would practice reffing it?
Yeah, so they go through like a development camp for future international players. Jonathan Boxall, who was at Belfast, we played in the conference team together at under 11s when he was playing for Swindon. And we reunited there. I turned up at the airport. I didn't know who else was going, and he was there and a couple of the other boys who I was in the conference program with. And so, yeah, we had a week out in Eindhoven for the development camp. So that was, I was 15.
Okay. I find that being a ref for linesman, the biggest part would be to stay out of the way. So like, is that a lot of what that conference is like where to be when the play is in certain situations, or what do you do?
It was more the top players from each nation that were involved with the tournament were invited. So you had to basically align from different countries of the world. And they would then mix with other nations and be put into teams of red, green, blue, white, and then they'd have a tournament. So it's like almost as if what you would expect.
That'd be pretty cool for the players to meet all those people.
Yeah, so it's basically anyone who was good enough went there, developed, and it was all as if it would be at the World Championships.
Right. Oh, that's cool. So you did that at what age?
15.
15 years old, you're doing that?
Yeah, so I was the youngest one.
And then you get to the EIHL by 19?
Yeah.
Happens fast, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. It was pretty quick. My first game was on the 23rd of September, 2009 in Belfast.
Really? Your first game was in Belfast?
Yeah.
Because you're a smooth skater, because that ice is way too big.
Well, so I got the phone call. I'll never forget it. I got the phone call. Andy French was running it at the time. He's involved with Ice Hockey UK now. I think he's the chairman there. And I had a phone call. I was like, "Hi, mate." He's like, "Can you do me a favor? Can you go to Belfast this weekend?" And I was like, "Me?" And he's like, "Yeah, can you go to Belfast this weekend?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So dropped everything, dropped the plans we made, went to Belfast. I thought, right, this is going to be great. Go into the arena, like, it's going to be class. So I get to the airport, and Nathan Craze, his dad, picks me up from the airport, who was playing in Belfast at the time. And he said, "Oh, have you been to the arena yet?" I said, "No." He goes, "Oh, well, that's not where the game's being played tonight. The game tonight is being played in Dundonald," which was like, I don't know, in a different part of Northern Ireland. I was like, "Oh, really?" So you go into like this place, like you think you're going into the arena, you're not. You're going into some other rink that's not as big, and it was pretty intense. It was good. It was good. They played against Hull. And
so do you remember the first fight you broke up?
I remember the first almost fight that I got involved with was Sean McMorrow was playing for Belfast at the time. And Sylvain Cloutier was playing for Hull. He was a player coach there. And McMorrow, all he wanted to do was fight every night. Every night, every game was wanted to fight. And he was going at Klutz, and Klutz was having none of it. And it was just like, you stand back and you're just like, what have I got myself into?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to get in between McMorrow and anybody.
No, exactly. So then, when was it then? The 3rd of October. So 2 weeks later, I went to Nottingham and did Nottingham, Belfast. I think that was probably one of the first fights I broke up. So that was Sean McMorrow and Kevin Bergen. So they fought like twice that game. First fight was straight off the opening draw.
Nice.
Then I think it was like towards the 3rd period. Bergen didn't want to know, but McMorrow chased after him anyway, and he gave him no option but
So when you haven't done it very often, like, was it the older linesman, or are you learning in the camps that you do, like where to position yourself in a fight, like when the right time is to jump in and like actually try and grab their arms? Or like, is there a lot of, are you being vocal with the fighters and being like, okay, you're done, like stop, please, I'm coming in, don't punch me?
Yeah, exactly. It's I developed that kind of skill of talking to the players when I was in the lower leagues, and knowing when to go in to the fights.
So you were involved in breaking up fights before the EIHL.
Before the IHL, yeah.
That's that Premier League or whatever.
Yeah, so the EPL, the English Premier League. So I gained a bit of experience there. It's quite a rough league. You have a fight probably almost nearly every night. And you just develop a way of working together to get the job done. But then when you go to the Elite League, and
because you and your partner would have to be in it together, right? Like
exactly.
You need to be like, I got him and you got him, and
exactly. So you kind of go, right, okay, I got Cardiff or I got Belfast, and you just communicate that way. But then, as in a fight, the players can switch. So like the players will move around. And
things do happen out there pretty quickly.
Exactly. So you got to try and follow the fight, and if obviously it switches, then
you guys are basically involved in the dance.
Exactly. But what I noticed was going from the EPL to the Elite League, and the difference in the fighting was like, these guys are professionals. This is what they get paid to do. Like,
so how good, when did you excel at getting the sticks and gloves out of the way so nobody's tripping? How long did it take you to learn that?
Yeah, it's something that I picked up on from watching like the NHL and stuff like that. And you see like guys just grab a stick and they'll use the stick to hit the gloves and the helmet out the way. And that's just something that I kind of tried to make sure I would do.
Yeah.
We were watching videos the other day, myself and Harry, and there's one in Belfast where Batchy and Kiefer fought a couple of years back. And the first thing I do is I come in, I just grab a helmet out the way, grab a glove out the way, because it just takes one person to stand on it, and it's good night.
Well, and I'm just trying to picture your like thought process when a fight starts, because you got to get there, but then like, I'm just thinking out loud here, is I'd be skating over there to get there. And then I'd be watching what's happening, but also you got to have some kind of eye contact with your buddy where he's going, your partner, but then you also got to be watching the sticks and gloves and where it's going and heading, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, you're not going to be going straight in 9 times out of 10. If it's a proper fight, if they're really going to go for it, you're not going straight in there. So you look at the situation, okay, right.
But even while you're moving the gloves and sticks, you got to be watching that, like somebody's not getting.
Yeah, nobody's cut or anything like that, or nobody's getting their head kicked in.
Yeah.
So you look at the situation, you look at what's around them. Okay, it's almost like a risk assessment. You go in there, right? Okay, what can they trip over? Right, move that. Right, okay. So then you make eye contact with your partner, and you just decide between you who's going to go where. But like I say, players move around when they're fighting and they're dancing, they spin around and things like that. So you can go, right, I'll take Cardiff, but then it'll turn out that the Belfast player's closer to you.
But then when you say you're going to take him, is it like you go for their arms first and tie up their arms?
So you put your arms across, let them know that you're there.
And be like, okay, we're here now. It is over.
Done. Yeah, we're done. Tap them on the back.
How many times, like when you guys went in, were they like, it's not over yet?
Yeah.
get out of the way. We're still going.
The first fight I broke up of Cam Janssen in Cardiff. I think he fought Hendo.
Yeah, he did, in front of the net. I remember that one.
Yeah. So I was on that game. I come in and
they fought a couple times, I'm pretty sure.
So Cam had this thing of letting the other guy throw his punches and wait. And then he'd start to throw his own. So I think he let the guy throw.
There was a lot of like clutching and grabbing when they did it. And like they were both doing it. It's confusing because like Hendo, he grabbed me once in practice and put his hand in on my shoulder pads and like squeezed my shoulder pads from both sides of them and grabbed me and started spinning me around. And I couldn't do anything. And I'm like, what would happen if a guy actually grabbed me out on the ice?
Exactly. So they're both like tied up pretty tight. And I was like, right, okay, boys, that's enough. And Cam's like, fuck off. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. We're not done yet. So I'm like, okay. And then like after his penalty was up, he's like, look, he said, I'll tell you when I'm done. He said, you don't come in before then. I was like, that's fine.
Well, I guess he is the expert, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Probably one of the toughest guys to play in the Elite League.
Yeah. I was just trying to picture before we were coming into the shed today. I was like, I can't imagine like Hendo and Janssen get ready to fight. And then you're the linesman. You're like, I'm going to go get in there and break that up.
Exactly. But I know like Cardiff were playing Braehead one night and Salters was playing for Braehead. And I think him and Lordo had a scrap by the net. And we went in and we all got pulled down. I think Salt ended up on his back. So I'm in the middle of it, breaking it up, and I ended up on top of Salt's. And Salt's literally just bench pressed me off him. He literally just went, boosh, and I'm above him. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. I had one of those moments when Chris Frank took me down. And then I tried to get up and he made me realize there's no way I could get up and that I was his bitch. It's tough, right? When you realize a guy can just grab you and like actually kill you if they want.
He could have just thrown me over the plexi and I couldn't do anything about it. But no, it's good. Like we have a lot of try and build a rapport with the players and stuff.
Well, here's a question.
Yeah.
Ever stop a player from trying to kill another player in a fight?
Yeah. Dease
was the one that asked me to ask that.
I thought so, yeah.
What, Dease tried to kill someone or someone was trying to kill Dease? Because I'm sure lots of people have tried to kill Dease.
It was during the summer, in the summer leagues, and I just refereed it just for a bit of
was Dease wasn't getting that angry that he's trying to kill someone.
Oh my God, seriously. So I can't remember who they were playing, but this guy cut across the blue line and went knee to knee with Dease.
Oh, and he already have the bad knee?
Yeah. And
he'd be upset then.
This guy was a bit of a scrawny rat and even caused a couple of issues throughout the game. So Dease loses his marbles and decides to grab the guy by the face cage, ripping his face cage off. The guy literally turtles, doesn't want to get involved. Dease is like,
you're involved. You just went knee on knee with me and I got a bad knee and I'm wearing a brace and should be playing hockey. You're involved.
Exactly. So Dease is kidney shotting him and he's just on his knees. Then I look closer and Dease is using his face like a bowling ball where he's got, imagine
he's got his fingers in his eye.
His fingers are in his eye sockets and his thumb is up his nose. And he's literally... Yeah. So he's got this guy literally like a claw in his eyes, up his nose, and he's dragging him around the ice. So
with the fingers in his eyeballs,
in his eye sockets, like deep. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm on Dease's back, like I'm on my own because it's a one-man system in the summer league, and it's just literally like nothing's meant to happen. And then Dease decides to like use this guy's face as a bowling ball. And I'm on his back. I'm like, Dease, you're going to fucking kill him. Just leave him be. Just leave him be.
And you're on his back and
I'm on his back going, Dease, you're going to fucking kill him. So I chucked the guy out for going into me.
I wish somebody would have got that on video. That sounds exciting.
Right. And then Dease looked at me. I went, just go and sit down for 2 minutes, mate. It's fine. I was like, I can't throw you out for that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I did wonder whether this.
So how did you get him off? Did you finally he
finally just cool down a little bit?
I'm sure his conditioning became a factor again too.
Yeah, he ran out of steam quite quickly.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the summer league. That reminds me of like around here. I've seen a few dads around town lately. I've seen a broken collarbone. I've seen another guy in a sling. I'm like, oh hey, what's up? They're like, rec league. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? What are you doing?
Exactly. It's dangerous though. You got guys who think they're still in their 20s.
You put teams in jerseys that are on this team and I'm on that team. And then, a team starts losing, they get upset, or you dangle a guy, they get upset, or you take the puck from them, they get upset. And then all of a sudden it's a thing. And I'm like, I don't need this in my life.
Exactly. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous. But yeah, I did wonder whether
putting on my socks is dangerous.
Yeah,
I took a slap shot in practice just to try and woo the kids, and I've had back spasms for a couple days now. So one slap shot. Yeah, it's not good for me. Okay. Anyways, yeah, Dease, quite the guy, eh? But you probably had a lot of run-ins with him as a linesman in the EIHL too, right?
To be honest, me and Dease have known each other since we were kids. So I was always kind of like the butt end of his jokes. So like you'd be stood on the boards and all of a sudden your boot would be filled with water from a water bottle, where he's just literally emptied the water bottle into your skate as you stood there on the boards. I've got
sometimes he can think his jokes are funny and they're just over the line, right?
Exactly. So we went to Belfast. Cardiff were playing in Belfast. Dropped the bags in the dressing room, went out for a game of two touch, got back, started getting changed, went to put my trousers on, and he's got the leg of my trousers and tied a knot in it. But it wasn't just like one knot, it was like 3 knots. And
like
he must like jammed it in the door and pulled it or something, because it was like I could hardly get him open. So
I'm pretty sure he put a dead rat in the toilet of the BBT on the other team, right? So
he did. He did. So then, like, you're getting dressed, you got your bottom half on, you go to get your jersey, and your jersey soaking wet, and then you go to put your arms through your jersey, and he's tied the arms together. Yeah,
just being a dick, yeah.
Exactly. But no, like I say, me and Dease have known each other for a long, long time. We went out the one playoff weekend. Did he tell you about our trip to the moon?
No, please tell.
So there was somebody dressed up in fancy dress and had a pair of skiing goggles. So the guy walks past Dease and Dease rips him off his head.
And folks in Canada that might come to the golf tournament June 25th, fancy dress means costumes.
Yeah, fancy dress. So yeah,
that's Canadian English.
Oh, there we go. So in a fancy dress costume, Dease rips the ski goggles off him, grabs him, puts them on, puts 2 beer bottles in his mouth, necks him. He's like hanging by this point, and he goes, "Sammy," he said, "we're going to the fucking moon." He's like acting like an astronaut, like bouncing around the place and stuff. And it was hilarious. But that night was cut short. To be fair, I couldn't keep up with him.
I wouldn't have guessed you can't keep up with these.
Oh, geez, I walked back down to the hotel. My wife was in bed, and she's like, "Oh, did you have a good night?" I went, "Yeah." I said, "Look at this picture of Dease. Dease has gone to the fucking moon." And as I said that, I literally just threw up everywhere. So it was
those things can happen when you're with Dease, though, and he's in fancy dress or costume.
Travel sickness from going to the moon.
Yeah, well,
I'll have to try and find the picture. I'll have to try and send you that one.
Going to the moon's always tough. Well, I saw the one of him in a costume where he's dressed like a scary, like the Joker.
Oh, the Joker.
Oh man, it was creepy.
That's with his summer league team.
So research team got hot today.
All right.
Or it wasn't today, but Dean Smith. Did he have an influence on you? Is he from the Cardiff area? Because I always liked him as a ref. Always thought he kind of reminded me of Jason Statham or whatever he is. Yeah.
Statham, yeah. Like a miniature version, like a mini me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dean, he's one of my best friends.
I always liked him as a ref. I always had a shine for him as the ref. Yeah,
we came through the lower ranks together when he was refereeing. So we did the EPL games together. We traveled nearly every weekend. I think I probably spent more time with him on the road than I did with my wife.
You guys got to really love it, or do they pay you enough to actually give up every weekend of your life?
You know what? I had the conversation about this at the weekend. We don't get paid a lot. You do it for the love of the game. And people don't see that. They don't realize that, they do it because the money's good. The money's shit. Anyone who's in hockey in terms of refereeing for money in this country, they're on a loser straight away because you just can't do it. You do it because you love the game. You do it because you want to be involved. And like I say, with Dean, personally, like one of my best friends, he was best man at my wedding. He's my daughter's godfather.
Really?
Yeah, he was the one who recommended to Andy French that I get a shot at the Elite League. But yeah, he's one of the nicest guys in hockey.
Yeah, I don't know. I always took a shy to him when he was the ref, and we always got along on the ice. So let him know I want him in my shed.
Yeah, definitely. I think
we're having like a zebra stampede in here. You know, we got Darns, now we got Motts, and we'll get Dino in here, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Dino's last season.
Is he still doing it too?
Yeah, he's still doing it. I think this is going to be his last one.
So how much did you guys travel then? Because I thought you did mainly, I thought they had their hubs where like the Scottish guys did the Scottish area, you'd do the Cardiff games, Rosie, and then there'd be the other guys. You're saying you went to Belfast, you went all over the place. Like,
yeah, you can get pulled to go anywhere. Very rarely did I go to Scotland. I went to Scotland once because, like you say, they've got local officials who can try and keep the costs down for the league. But with us, with Belfast, because you could fly from Cardiff or Bristol, you haven't really got much of a travel expense apart from your plane ticket. So it'd work out well, you know, if you wanted a weekend in Belfast, then they give you a weekend in Belfast, or if they needed you to go to Belfast, they'd call you up and say, can you book flights? But yeah, so me and Dean would travel anywhere. So like you could be in Nottingham on the Saturday night, you could be in Sheffield.
And then do you have the hotel together? You share, or do you get your own?
Yeah, so in Belfast, they give you a hotel room for the linesman, which is like a twin room, and then the referee gets a double room to himself.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah, the linesmen were together, and then the referee takes a double. But yeah, it's like, but nine times
probably gets chocolate covered strawberries and everything.
Yeah,
too, eh?
Some robes. And
yeah,
a swan made out of a towel on the bed.
Probably.
Yeah, some rose petals. But no, if we were mainland as such, so if we were Nottingham on the Saturday, chances are you weren't with the same refereeing crew on the Sunday. So you'd end up traveling back to Cardiff and then going to Sheffield or go into Coventry. So there wasn't many overnight.
Would you normally stay with a guy, or you're doing a lot of traveling by yourself?
A lot of the time you're with referee. Obviously in Cardiff, we're in a bit of a unique situation where we had myself, James Irons, Dean Smith, Rosie. So 9 times out of 10 you'd be paired up with someone
to travel with them.
To travel with them, yeah. So it's always good fun. And I think that was the biggest part that I missed when I finished was the car journeys.
Yeah. Like being on the back of the bus with the guys, and then you're like, man, it's been 5 years. I should probably try and get them into my shed.
Exactly. And it's just one of those, like, it's the camaraderie in the dressing room. Those are the bits you miss when you finish.
Yep. I know.
100%. Those are the bits you miss.
And winning, but you guys can't really do that.
No, but you know when you've had a good game, and the room has had a good game, and you just move on to the next one, and you're pleased with yourself because you did a good job.
Yeah.
You know, and I think referees and linesmen are probably their own worst critique because they'll overthink something and they'll think, right, okay, what could I have done better in that game, or what didn't I do so good in that game? And like
same what you do in any job in life is
exactly.
You say you have like projects and one goes well, and then you're like, okay, why did it go well? Or it doesn't go well. And you're like, where can we improve? What process? Oh, yeah. It's the same as like when you run a power play and you're like, well, you were standing over there. The guy was right there. You should stand over there. Or you should look at me this way, or look at me that way, and then look at him, and then we'll go that way, and then that way, you know?
Exactly. And I know I did. I spoke to Dean a lot, and Dean was key to my development in terms of being a linesman. And we'd talk about things, and he'd say, right, okay, I thought you were shit tonight, but this is why I thought you were shit.
Yeah. If you're being honest with people and like,
exactly.
If people can take it when you know when you're good or bad, right? And then sometimes you don't need to be told. You're like, I know I screwed up. Like, you don't need to tell me I turned that over. I already know.
Exactly. And I think fans like think sometimes that referees and linesmen are out there to fuck the game up, but they're really not. Why would they care who wins or loses? They don't. Like, you know, like whole conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and with certain officials in certain buildings with certain teams.
So how do you stay completely neutral that you don't cheer for Cardiff and you don't care if they win?
Yeah, it was quite strange because obviously when I was in the lower leagues, there was no real reason. Like I'd follow the game results because my dad was still a season ticket holder there, and a lot of my friends were. And you keep track of the scores. So it's a local team, but you just do. You manage to switch off,
because that's your job and that's what you're doing, right?
Exactly. Like there was I wasn't necessarily a Devils fan. I was a fan of ice hockey.
Right.
You love the sport, whether that was Coventry were playing or Belfast were playing or Nottingham were playing. It didn't really matter because you love the game.
And you're a part of it. You're in there mixing it up with Cam Janssen and the boys, right?
Exactly. Like you get butterflies before a game, like anything that's like happened before, like that game. So is anything going to be dragged into this game? And you're like little things like that, and it gets your adrenaline going.
Yeah, man, it's fun to have your adrenaline going. It's like getting ready to go to the All Ontarios with your under 11s.
Exactly.
Okay. So what do I got here then? So when did you stop officiating?
Stopped officiating. When was that? That was 28th of July.
Of what?
2018.
You remember dates well, eh?
Nah, I found a couple of emails.
Oh, okay. So that's when it was over. So did you ever ref, or were you only a linesman? Or I didn't say only. Did you ever try it?
Yeah, like there was situations where, say, a linesman would get injured, and you'd have to do a two-man system where you do both the linesman and the referee inside of it. So we had a couple.
Big sneeze! Holy moly!
Sneeze. Sponsored
I
by
don't know if I got the headset off in time. Jeepers!
So there'd be a couple of situations where it'd be a two-man system, but that's as close as I got as refereeing in the Elite League.
Okay. Well, I got some more questions here before we got to go back to the real world. Okay.
Yep.
Research team found you did some kind of camp with Paul Thompson, and it was like it. Did you go elsewhere? Was he involved in some camp you did? There was a website where you were the skating instructor.
No, that was Pete Russell.
Pete Russell, wrong name. Research team was off. Wrong name I wrote down. Pete Russell. You're right.
Yeah, Pete Russell.
I don't know either of them, so their names are very interchangeable to me.
Yeah, so Pete Russell's the GB head coach.
Yeah, that's right. So did you do stuff with him?
Yeah, so we worked together on a camp in Milton Keynes and in Manchester.
Okay.
So he brought me in as a skating coach for his Pro Tips hockey camp. So we had a really good relationship there. So went up there for a week, ran the camp there for the kids. But yeah, it was a good experience.
When I saw you also worked with KHL skating coaches, is this true?
Yeah. So I worked with Max Ivanov. He was with Pittsburgh at the time. So when I was doing my studies with regards to the biomechanics in sport, and specifically ice hockey and skating.
Biomechanics?
Yeah.
So you straight up researched all this stuff then, eh?
Yeah. Like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to
all in.
Go all in. So you look at the science behind it, and the biomechanics. So that's kind of where I was going with it. You know, I'd noticed in Europe everything was getting a lot faster. So I reached out to a couple of skating coaches around the NHL, KHL. And the first one and the only one actually to reply to me was Max Ivanov, who at the time was the skating coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we set up a bit of a meeting, again, over Zoom. Zoom wasn't back there then. It was more like a Skype call.
Yeah.
So we had a phone call and built a really good working relationship there. So he invited me then to go and work with him in Europe. And we ended up running a camp together in London. So he came over and he's literally like from head to toe in Pittsburgh Penguins gear. So like baseball cap and gloves with his name on and the Penguins logo and his kit bag. So we built up a really good relationship and he helped me a lot with my studies and things like that. And I took a lot of inspiration from him and built that into Extreme Edges.
So okay, well, with all the skating you do, you've probably made it to Chippy Lane before.
Yeah.
What would you order?
What would I? You know, I was thinking about this earlier when I was listening to the Darnell episode. I would go
double meal Darnell.
Double meal Darnell. Yeah, what a guy! That guy's awesome. I would go lamb doner meat and chips with garlic mint sauce on the lamb kebab. Yep.
I support what you're doing. What's going on in your chips?
Just salt and vinegar.
Okay. I like what you're doing. I support it. I support it.
I haven't been there for a while, mind. I haven't been there for a while.
I also, for your poster there, I saw pictures. Once you have kids, you don't get to go there as often. I never got to go there that often. That's why I like talking about it. But, you know, what was I going to say? But you also trained with the Devils. Or your poster, the picture for your poster, you were out with the Devils a few times.
Yeah. So that came about. I was coaching Charles Linglay's boy, Vincent Lingley. So he came. Is
it Lingley or Linglet?
I don't know. Lingley. I don't know. Lingley. That's how I've always pronounced it. I think that's how
what?
Linglet? Lingley.
Is he actually French? Lingley?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. So anyway, I started teaching his boy.
I actually think I just saw that they won the Florida under something tournament his boy did, and they probably went and celebrated at the Lonnie Kai.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
Exactly.
Bet you the kids did.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
No, I can't. But do you think his under 11 team went to Legs and Eggs at the Lonnie Kai?
You know what? That's on my bucket list now. Need to go there. Me and the coaches from XC.
Oh, when I like, you never know where all these hockey players end up, but then like, I don't really know him. I met him at Wally night, and then you start following each other and you see him coaching or a parent of the Florida Everblades under 11 state championship. And you're like, did they go to Legs and Eggs?
You know what? I hope so. But that's on my bucket list now. The Legs and Eggs thing.
There you
Definitely. That will we Extreme Edges sponsors Carruth.
So, you're a Carruth sponsor?
Yeah, so Extreme Edges sponsors
his
Carruth.
Jersey.
Yeah, so
is that right? Because he actually asked me to sponsor his jersey next year if he went back. So
yeah, you have to cough up the pennies.
Yeah, I don't have any, so I guess he's yours.
No, it's good. It's like people are saying, like they refer to myself and my wife Kaylee, who obviously runs the business, that we're the sponsors of Carruth. Where I'm like, no, Extreme Edges sponsors Carruth. When the kids see the logo on his jersey, they're part of that.
Oh yeah,
so
of course, just like when 2Ale sponsors anything, every guy that's came on and made the time for me, and a lot of these guys don't even know me, and they make the time to shoot the shit with me. They're all a part of everything. I like when I raise money for anything. or whatever we're doing, say we're having a golf tournament, June 25th at Ainsdale Golf Course, like everybody's invited. And because you guys all came to my shed, I feel
You're
like
involved.
we can do this.
Exactly.
I hope people sign up.
Exactly. But yeah, going back to how the whole Devils thing come about was, so I was coaching Vinny, and Charles said, would you jump on the ice with me and just take a look at my skating? Because we've got a video analysis process, basically, where we get them skating through a 4K video camera, and we can then look at the angles and the degrees that they're skating at, and break it down.
Like what? Like how low your butt is, how upright your back is?
Yeah, full extension, the toe kick, the knee bend, the angle that you're pushing out at. So we look at the
But I always find like it's weird for me, right? Because like I feel like kids skate the way they skate. Like you can try and teach them a little bit, but kind of people skate the way they walk. People skate the way they move. And like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But if we can make slight changes, like kids,
and to get the best out of what they can do. And yeah, when they're young enough, you can mold them into something else and what they could become.
Exactly. So that happened with Charles. And I remember turning up one morning for a session with him, and he brought Batchy, Rutkiss, and a couple of the other guys. And then that turned into a regular thing where I was skating with the Devils during the summer in the mornings before preseason. And the reason why is because the game's coming down to small margins now.
Yeah, well, I mean, good on them to be trying to figure out any way to get better, right?
Exactly. Everything's coming down to small margins. So if you can make a 50-50 puck, you know, a 60-40 puck.
Well, it's interesting, like that you've done so well is because, like you said, you reached out to all these different skating instructors and only one responded to you, right? It's like when you were never a big name hockey player and you're starting it as a guy that played junior hockey in the UK and was a figure skater, and to get you to where you are now, but then that everybody's taking you seriously and you get these pro guys voluntarily wanting to come out with you. That says a lot about what you're doing then, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's, you know, they understood what I was trying to achieve with regards to the efficiency and the small margin stuff. So like we would break down their stride, we'd break down their crossovers with the video, and we'd look at it and go, right, okay, so you're losing speed there, you're making a pivot there, but you're slowing yourself down too much, you're losing momentum and things like that. So just those little bits. But like we had, her dad was out with us, we had Joey Martin out with us and stuff like that, and it was good.
Oh, the GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT was there. So I had a couple of meetings with Lordo about coaching with him and just taking players out whether they were injured, whether it be like part of their rehab program, but nothing really come off of that. But yeah, so as soon as Lordo was gone for the summer, it was the boys were on the ice.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask you about, since you're a skating coach, okay, is these crossovers. So I always would skate straight line all the time, but then I heard about the crossovers when you have the puck and like you start watching McKinnon and McDavid skate, and when they have the puck through the neutral zone, they don't really take a stride. They just do crossovers. I don't know if anybody's been watching, but I watched it and then I tried it out because I got a bad knee. And I just one day out at family shinny, I was like, well, what is this crossover thing about? And I did it. And you know what it reminded me of is those little cars that, like, when you get the wheel going at the right speed, like they're either not moving or once you get them going, you're just grooving. And I was grooving. I was fat, out of shape, and I was flying. And I was like, holy shit, why didn't I know about this?
Exactly. And that, again, that comes down to efficiency and making sure that you're using your body weight and the power at the right times. And you're not wasting energy.
It seemed a lot easier.
It does. And it feels like as if you're not using as much energy.
So you knew about these right when I was in Cardiff and I was sweating like crazy up and down the ice.
It comes down to efficiency, but again, that's a small margin aspect of a skill. And that's what the game's coming down to now. Is it's getting faster and it's the small margins. You know, like I said to Lordo and to the Devils players, I'm not here to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Far from it. We're just looking at how we can make you faster. Like the kids who come on our camps and stuff like that, who already play junior hockey, I say to them, I sit them down at the beginning. I say, right, you are not here to learn to skate. You can all skate, otherwise you wouldn't be playing hockey.
Yeah.
Don't think that I'm out here to try and teach you how to skate.
Well, and I remember I went out when I first got with Columbus, and it was a practice at like the real team practice, and then there was like the guys that were in the lineup, which I was with. And they brought a skating coach out to work with us. And it was a figure skating coach that was working with us. And, you know, it's like, what does she know about skating? And it's like, you know, and then like, but you're like, if Columbus is hiring her to teach us how to skate. And then once she started like putting it out there, like, well, you got to do this and you got to do that. You're like, huh, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. It feels strange because you're out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. And then you can make that normal. Then all of a sudden you can get a little edge, right?
Exactly. Like Dixon playing for the Devils now, he got injured a couple of weeks ago and he came out and I was like, right, okay, let's have a look. And I was like, okay, do you get a pull when you extend your leg? And he was like, yeah. Okay. So to get you through the next couple of games, we look at changing your stride. And then we changed his stride. And I was like, does that pull? And he was like, no. And I was like, well, there you are. So if you can skate like that for a game and just consciously in your mind skate like that.
Yeah. It's hard though, when you play like that you're consciously thinking about that instead of just feeling the rhythm. Then you can't play like yourself. When you start playing with injuries, you're always thinking about it while you're out there. You might be helping the team, you know, but like you can't be as good as you can be.
No, exactly.
So playing those games is always, you got to test yourself and you got to be willing to do it. And you got to be a team guy to do those things. Cause there's a lot of guys that sit out when things aren't right. And there's a lot of guys that'll do whatever it takes to help a team win. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Geez, I go through my notes afterwards and they're like basically what we've talked about, but, the only other thing I got is, was there any memorable moments where you like really screwed up a call? Or did you ever get punched in the head because you got into a fight too soon?
Yeah, like I think if you speak to any linesman, really, you know, everyone's caught a flying punch, whether it's over the top of your head or whether it's the side of your head. I think everyone's pretty much got punched. I guess one call where I was sold on a call by a player. So it was my first year as a linesman in Cardiff, and Ryan Finnity's behind the play, playing for Cardiff, and he takes like a two-handed slash on the back of a Coventry player, on the back of his legs, and it's right in my eye line. So now this is at the time of the three-man system. So you're the second set of eyes.
So you can call it.
So I remember skating over, I think it might have been Hicksy. And I skated over to Hicksy. I said, look, he went, what happened behind the play? I was like, he's like, that commentary play is down. I was like, yeah, I know, I saw it. And he goes, what we got? And I was like, yeah, we got a 5 in a game for a slash. And obviously I was the only one who saw it, apart from the fans as well. But in terms of the on-ice officiating team, I was the only one who saw it. It was like right alongside me. And I was like, oh, geez. So then Hicksy's like, well, go tell him. I was like, Finna, you got to go. And obviously you can imagine Finna's reaction. And then you got like Franny throwing his clipboard at me. And his pen like smashes into about 1 million pieces on the floor, which I still wind him up about to this day, where he used to throw his clipboard at me. And I had to tell Finna he was gone. And he was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, nah, sorry, mate. I was like, you got to go. I said, two-handed slash on the back of the legs. The guy's down. So then, like, he kind of hated me for like months. And then I think when he started coaching, then he totally changed.
It's
And
Finner.
And then we got on really, really well.
Yeah, because then he's the coach then, and he has to be with you, or else he knows you could screw him.
Exactly, but we had a really good relationship when I was on the line then. When he was coaching, it was quite funny because like I was the hated guy in Cardiff. I just
In your hometown.
In the hometown, like my name was like on the forums and all the rest of it. Like shouldn't be in the league and all the rest of it. I only look 12 years old.
It's all good. You still look 12 when I was there.
Exactly. So, but yeah, then ever since then, me and Finno got on really well. I was involved obviously with the Matska game in Cardiff, which was a great honor to be involved with. Extreme Edge's sponsored Finnish jersey. That's
the hockey circle, right? It all comes
exactly.
And then there's the competing and whatever, right? Like you got to get your edge any way you can, right?
Exactly. So it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, do you got anything else for me before we shut her down and get back to the real world?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Did you write down notes yourself before this?
Yeah.
Well, you got it all written down, dates and everything. That's how you knew all the dates.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeez.
For sure.
Your research team was hot.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to make sure like I got everything was pretty accurate. Obviously.
Well, all I'd say, yeah, I don't know if anything I say is accurate. I'm just,
just go with the flow.
Just
but you're a pro at this now.
I wouldn't say that.
You're a pro at this now.
No, you get paid if you're a pro. I'm still an amateur.
Mate, a pro that doesn't get paid.
But seriously, I'm like going over to Cardiff, what I did and playing the year and a bit I did, and then seeing what it's became and all the different things that it comes with, right? The business you have now, Hendo's got, and I'm very proud of what minor hockey is becoming in Cardiff and all the players that are coming out of there. Like, I think it's really cool. And Joey Martin should be proud. Joey Haddad, Bouncy, like all these guys that I guess were the backbone of the Devils for so many years that all these kids can aspire to be. I think it's really neat that you're at least helping them have a pathway to it, right?
Yeah, exactly. We want as many kids involved with the sport as we possibly can. Because I think what hockey does off the ice is unique to any other sport in terms of the community and that hockey family that people talk about. I think what that creates, you don't get at it elsewhere.
Right. But there's also places where the hockey family isn't what we talk about all the time.
No, exactly.
There's a lot of places where the hockey family really is dysfunctional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've had a few times where that's been the case, but if you try and keep it that way, that it's a community and everyone's involved and treat people how you'd expect to be treated, then I guess we're on the right path.
That sounds like it makes sense to me. And thanks for coming to the shed, Mots. And this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Mots and Wally.